It's an honor for us from IMS to interview the first director, Sri A.S. Tambekar. I'd just like to hear from you, sir, about the time when IMS was commenced its training in 1997. What were your thoughts?
The process of formation of IMS actually started after the STCW convention was ratified by Government of India. It was in 1995. Then they formed committees for different trainings, nautical, engineering, ratings, different committees were formed. The engineering committee was headed by Mr. Moti Jagtiani. He is no more, and he was assisted by Mr. Ratanlal Jain. He is also no more. Mr. Percy Diabro is also no more. And Mr. A.K. Chatterjee, who was at that time the Deputy Chief Surveyor, then Deputy Director of Mary Bombay, he was also a member of the committee. Mr. Vasant Datar, who was of MAN, so he had experience on MAN engines. And there were few others, which I don't remember the names. In that committee, they decided to visit all the ports and see what was the existing facility and which can be improved. So when they decided to come to Goa, naturally they interacted with the Goa branch of IMA. Mr. Biswas was the chairman of Goa branch. Mr. Rajendra Kumar was the vice chairman. He was also the surveyor in charge, MMD. I was involved in this because I was also an ex-chairman of Goa branch. I was working with Dempos, who are running a shipyard in Old Goa. And Mr. Dempo was the chairman of Shipbuilding Industry Society of Goa. That was the body which started the ISBT, Institute of Shipbuilding Technology. And being with Dempos and in close contact with Mr. Dempo himself, I was appointed as the Honorary Secretary of SISG. So I had, you can say, triple role. One is as a marine engineer. One is as representing a shipyard. And one is as representing the body which was controlling the ISBT. So I was there with this committee wherever they went. Of course, Mr. Biswas did a lot in organizing the visits. Mr. Rajendra Kumar also helped a lot, particularly for accommodation of all the visitors in MPT guest house. Mr. Lotlikar, Suresh Lotlikar, was the principal of ISBT at that time. He provided a lot of help, secretarial help, physical help, and all the other logistic help he provided. We visited the individual members of SISG and the shipyards that were existing in Goa, particularly Goa Shipyard, which was a shipbuilding yard under the Ministry of Defense. They did not have much of ship repair activity. So, from our point of view, that was a little shortcoming. Western India Docks was a floating dock, and they were conducting repairs of all the seagoing ships. So they were well equipped with the type of training that was needed to be given to marine engineers, including machinery repairs, propeller and shaft repairs, rudder repairs, pipeline repairs, all that they were equipped quite a lot. Goa had a lot of barge repairing activity, and each barge repairing workshop had, in a smaller way, all these facilities like pipe repairing, machinery repairing, diesel engine repairing, and of course, hull work, steel work. So after visiting all these units, we sat in the committee and tried to discuss what is our finding. You can say unanimous decision was none of these facilities are self-sufficient. And they were not willing to invest in creating facilities like providing a classroom, providing, say, material testing laboratory. All these things they were not willing to invest. So first visit was more or less on a negative note. But before they left, I put up the proposal that they are having some expertise, and you can say they are giving a fractional training of what is required for marine engineers. If we add the fractions, we will get a whole number.
Correct.
So that was the logic behind combining the expertise of all the units. One more thought that came to my mind was when I had my training in DMET, we were posted in one particular shipyard. I was in Naval Dockyard, and we learnt a lot about steam turbines and water tube boilers. Whereas my colleagues who were in Bombay Port Trust, they got the knowledge of the tugs and dredgers, which are very small, that too most of the time, steam engines. Those days, steam engines were fitted on the tugs with Scotch boilers. People working in Mazgan Dock and Scindia Workshop were more fortunate because they had the opportunity to visit bigger ships, see the layout of the ship, see the repairs on the ship, and overall management of the ship. So I thought that we should not distribute the students to one particular unit. We must rotate them so that they will get the training in each unit, the expertise of each unit, and that will add up and make a complete training. So these were the thoughts when we decided that we will make this institute. So I prepared the seed paper for this as the secretary of SISG. It was my responsibility. I prepared the seed paper, which was discussed in the managing committee meeting of SISG. Giving the details of how I would like to give the training. And this should be a separate body. And we decided the name of Institute of Maritime Studies. We did not limit it to only engineering. We said that it can later on be expanded to any type of maritime studies. Whether it is nautical, whether it is radio engineering, electrical engineering, or whatever type, which in future engineers will have to gain expertise.
So would you tell that about the cooperation which you got from the various members of the SISG?
Yes.
How you found it?
Being the secretary, I was always in contact with all the big houses. Mr. Dempo was the chairman, so definitely we got very good support from him. Mr. Shivanand Sargakar was the vice chairman. He also supported us very well. Mr. Vijay Chaugale was that time in charge of Chaugales. Mr. Shekhar Singh was the MD of Western India, and Mr. J.K. Roy was the Vice President. So they were very helpful. Admiral Menon was CMD of Goa Shipyard. Mr. Alvarez was General Manager. So they helped us. They had deputed Mr. Das from their unit to interact with us.
How did you find, sir, the first batch when you started selecting the first batch, like 1997 batch which were there, which is supposed to be starting on 1st of September 1997?
Yes, when we decided,
25th year we are going into. So how did you go through that interview process or selection process?
when we decided that we will have the training, the first job was to notify that we are going to have this. So we must have a prospectus. Making up a prospectus was itself a job. And I must have spent a lot of time in just preparing the prospectus.
You used to start from scratch.
Start from scratch. What is this institute? Who are the people behind it? The members of SISG. Who are the people who are supporting it? Like IME, the DG Shipping. Who is going to approve our training? The DG Shipping. What are you going to get? Are you going to get a degree? Or so you will get only a passing out certificate. These details had to be put up in the prospectus. In order to give advertisement all over India, the best was we said we will give an advertisement in Times of India, all issues. That will cover most of the country in one attempt. So, but that itself was costing nearly some 30,000-40,000 rupees for a small advertisement. Now we did not have any money, and we decided that we will work on no profit, no loss basis. We borrowed 1 lakh of rupees from SISG Before actually ISBT was formally registered. We paid for the advertisement, we paid for the posting, and ISBT agreed to provide classrooms, office space for director, laboratories, workshops. They had separate labs for material testing, heat engines, naval architecture. So all this, they had computer center, they had a very good library. This library also, I can say that I contributed in building up that library because we had a lot of marine engineering books in that library, naval architecture books, and other books on mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, which later on was very helpful for our training. The advertisement was put up in the Times of India, and we decided that we will have interviews for two reasons. One is that it is not merely an academic course. We have to see the attitude and aptitude of the students. So, smartness of the student, its skill in communicating, this was also an important thing. Because on the ship, you must communicate with others. Then his physical fitness was also important. So we called for the applications along with their academic record and whether they had any connection with seafaring. If anybody's father, brother, uncle, anybody was already at sea. So we wanted to give preference to that category of boys. One thing I decided, though there was some pressure from some quarters, particularly government, that we should have some reservations for SC, ST and whatnot. So I said, we will not have any reservation on any account, but we will give weightage. Whatever you want to say, okay, SC, ST, we will give them weightage. Some people say we must have a preference for the local boys. I said, okay, for local boys we will give weightage. We will not give preference. There will be no preference. There is no reservation for that. So on that basis we selected the boys, their academic, their aptitude, their background, their smartness, their communication skill. All these things were taken into account. For taking the interview, I invited people from different units. So, Mr. Arvind Adkarni from Port Trust, he was there. Mr. Das from Goa Shipyard was there. I think Mr. Dayal was there from Sargaukas. So like that Mr. Lotlikar was himself there. So the boys were selected by a team, not by one individual. And based on all these factors, we put up the selection list. Unfortunately, because of the shortage of time, and because it was not circulated sufficiently, we did not get the required number. That time we had decided to take 25 boys. We did not get all 25 in our first lot. Of course, it doesn't mean that we took anybody who came. We did reject some people. But still we were not able to make 25. So we had started calling those who did not come for the interview. So like that, then one by one they started coming. And when we actually started, our batch was full. 25 numbers was full by the time we actually started the training.
What do you think, sir, the practical training, how much emphasis you had put at that moment of time from the first batch itself, and where all you were sending them for training?
Yes, this was specified by the STCW, how many hours they have to put in different yards. And it was our task to split their training into different units. All the Western India, GSL, ISBT, MPT workshop. MPT had a workshop in Baina. They had a workshop in number 9 berth. So that chart was prepared as to how the boys will be split. 25 boys we divided into 5 groups. Each one has 5 boys. One group will go in one center, another group. And after 1 month, they will rotate. 4 weeks rather. They will rotate in other. So that everybody will give every type of training. That was the concept. Then that list was approved by the SIG Managing Committee. We started the training. DG Shipping had to give the approval. So that also was done before we actually started. So a comprehensive project report was to be prepared. And Mr. Lotlikar was very helpful in doing this project report with the help of his clerical staff and his other staff. We did a nice spiral bound report which was sent to DG Shipping through IME, because IME was our intermediary. We got approval from DG Shipping. For September 1997. We started IMS. Now we also had to recruit some people, because we had to have faculty to teach certain subjects. We were getting some visiting lecturers, like even Mr. Daya and Mr. Gaitonde. They were willing to come as visitors. We got Mr. Bondale, he was architecture. Staff of ISBT were also invited to give lectures, particularly in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, mathematics. Mathematics was also a subject, drawing. So, drawing, by the way, I was personally looking, because engineering drawing, though graduates were not required to have, we insisted that they should be trained. So they were trained in drawing. The drawing really tells them what is an assembly.
Correct.
How different parts are put together to make a complete machinery. Then, because there was some resistance from some yards that we will not be able to look after your boys when they are in our yards. So we decided to take training officers or training instructors. So training instructors were taken, who were basically training diploma holders and had some expertise in these workshops. Then the question of safety requirements was also came up during the discussions. So we decided to include the safety gear in what we will provide to the boys, along with the uniform, boiler suits, safety shoes, helmet, all these things were added up. Then some units objected, what will happen if there is an accident? They will not be covered under the
Insurance
scheme. Employees state insurance, ESI. So I decided that we will do group insurance. I called for people from insurance companies and we decided to give group insurance to all the boys and the instructors who were visiting in different workshops. And this included their traveling when they are going from one workshop to other or coming to institute. They were covered for all the accidents that may take place. Fortunately, nothing had happened.
So, when the first batch passed out and we are coming to the second batch selection, so what was the feeling related to the training which we covered? Satisfaction?
Yes, actually, IME did send their team in between for 2 or 3 times to monitor what we are training. They interviewed the boys and asked them what training they are giving, what they have learned. So they were satisfied with what training we were giving. We had by the time conducted one exam also. I had started a system of quiz program. Once in a week, we used to have a quiz program among the boys. They were divided in 5 groups. So each group will ask a question and other group will give the answer. So what they learnt in one workshop was understood by
others.
The other boy. That quiz program made them sharpen their aptitude for learning what is happening, learning to question why this is this way, why not the other way, why do we do it like this, what do we do, what is the procedure followed. All these questions were inculcated in the minds of the students through this quiz program. We had a examination at the end of 6 months. There was no break throughout the
training was continuous.
At the end, when we had decided to have the final examination, I thought we must have a proper passing out function. It is not a merely classroom teaching. So have a passing out function and how that function will be. So again, I called for the meeting and we discussed this. First thing we decided is the nature of passing out function. We will call some chief guest, we will call some invitees, we will have a parade of the boys, because that was also inculcated included in our training.
Discipline.
Mr. Carvalho, one of our faculty, was a naval officer. So he was giving training in parade, marching, how to salute. All this training was given to the boys right from the first day. So we will have a passing out parade also. We will give awards. Now we had no money. So he said, who will sponsor the awards? The people were asked. IME themselves said, we will give the best cadet award. Saravakar said, we will give the silver medal for a best cadet. Dempoth said, we will give for the best academic performance. Like that, then wherever it was required, I approached those people. Like New Era, they gave a prize. IRS, they gave a prize.
In fact, still that process is still on, because whatever you set up is still going on in the similar fashion. Only the number of prizes have increased with all the shipping companies coming in.
So, approaching shipping companies to give a prize, approaching the classification societies to give a prize, approaching the institute to give a prize. So all this was clubbed together, and we had a grand passing out function with the DG Shipping himself coming for the final passing out.
What about the placements, or about those batch, which is the first batch?
Fortunately, Shipping Corporation, they decided to interview all the boys. Mr. B.K. Saxena, who was in charge of their training wing, he came for interviews. He interviewed all the 25 boys, selected all the 25 boys. So in one lot, all the 25 boys were placed in Shipping Corporation. We did not have to go to another shipping company. But that made a name for us. That a company like Shipping Corporation was willing to take these boys. So next year, actually, Shipping Corporation did not take a single boy. But our boys were placed in different companies, including foreign companies and smaller companies.
In the 3 years, sir, you were working with IMS as a director. So what, at the end of that tenure, when you were passing out from IMS, how was your feeling, sir, that you have set up the correct goals?
Yes, I had the satisfaction of having started a very ideal training institute, having managed a very ideal training institute, inculcate the feeling of a marine engineer among the boys, what is required. I had actually in the first batch mixed the groups after the first semester. Because my thought was that when you change the ship, you change your shipmates. So, when you change after 6 months, you change your shipmate, you change your group. So that was also, from all different angles I was thinking how to do this. When we had called Mr. Chatterjee for inspection once, and we took him to Transhipper, we had to go in a launch. So he said, are the boys going to go in launch every day? I said, yes, that is a part of the training. Going on the launch, climbing up the rope ladder or climbing up on the gangway, this is a part of the training. So we are giving this training to the boys. He was happy.
There must be a good satisfaction for you and feeling pleasure of having built up something from scratch.
Yes. Very, very satisfied. And I took Mr. Mathur as my deputy director. before I decided to quit. I decided to quit myself. I was not told to quit because I had some other plans. Unfortunately, they did not come through. Because after I took retirement from
IMS.
IMS, it was on 31st October 2000.
So,
I had to go through a very serious operation in Bombay. So, my future plans were slightly disturbed. But whatever I was doing in IMS, one more thing I want to tell you, that while I was monitoring the students, I was also monitoring the teachers. I used to go and sit in the classes and see what they are teaching. So every teacher, whether it is an ISBT teacher, whether it was a technical teacher, or whatever it is, I used to go and see what they are teaching. And sometimes, if they were not able to answer the students, then I used to get up and answer that part of it. Apart from what was specified by DG Shipping, I wanted my students to be more versatile. So, I had arranged for industrial visits of the students, particularly when they were attached to ISBT. They were taken to different factories in the Zuari industrial estate, like manufacture of propellers, how to measure pitch of the propeller, fuel pump testing.
Marine electrical, of course, the electrical, marine
Marine electrical testing of
motors, transformers.
continuity test. These different expertise were put in the boys. And I also arranged for visits by non-technical persons. One was Dr. What was his name? Arun Dekar. Dr. Arun Dekar was our doctor. I told him to come and visit and tell the boys about how to take care of their health while they are on the ship. They are all alone. There is no mummy to tell them, you take this, take that. No father to take you to doctor. You have to decide what you want. So how to take care of yourself, health-wise. Dr. Arun Dekar, I told him to take one lecture. I arranged for one lecture of Captain Pinto, Harry Pinto, who is no more, on marine geography. Because when the boys went to different places, they should know where they are on the earth. So different countries, which are the oceans they are crossing, which are the canals they are crossing, which are the straits they are passing. So this marine geography, that was given by Harry Pinto. I had arranged one lecture by one chartered accountant to tell them about investment. I told them that when you go on the ship, you will earn a lot of money. Don't throw away your money. You must invest your money in a proper manner. So I told him to guide the students on how to invest their money, building their house or whatever, building their assets, or traveling, seeing the India. Many times when I joined seniors, our ships were operating on the coast. And the other boys who joined India steamships, they were straight away going abroad. So they used to tease us. Join senior to see India. But we did see India because whenever my ship went to Jamnagar, I went to
All the places around.
see places around. When we went to Tuticorin, we went to see the Madurai temple. When we went to Calcutta, I went to Dakshineshwar. So, like that, we did see India while on the ship. So, utilize your time. How to best utilize your time. This was also a training given to the boy. So, I was satisfied completely with the type of training I have given. I handed over to Mr. Mathur in a proper way, making a document, handing over so and so number of trainees, what is the financial status, what are the assets of the institute. All these things were documented and a handing over report was prepared and signed in presence of that time our chairman, Sri Shivanand Sargavkar. So,
I think
complete
satisfaction.
satisfaction.
In fact, Mr. Tambekar is not set himself away from marine engineering. He has been writing his books, which have been distributed to every student from IMS, and he continues to be a mentor to all of us in IMS itself. And your foundation, which you have laid at this moment, we are going into the 25th year, and we are all pleased that the type of training which you had expected students to do or to follow, we've been trying to achieve that even with this pandemic here. Thank you very much, sir, and hope you good and healthy life, and you continue to mentor us and the students who are in touch with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for interviewing me and allow me to express my feelings. IMS, even ISBT for that matter, are my children.
Correct. Thank you, sir.